Good morning to you. It's 8:33, the mighty 1630 KCJJ. Was that one of the songs that Molly wanted to get rid of?
What's it called?
Called Out in the Dark.
No, I don't think
Snow
it is.
Patrol. Okay.
Why?
Well, because I've heard from people for some reason listen to us from other stations, classic rock stations and rock stations, and they play that.
Yeah.
They said I never heard that before.
Huh.
Is that a big hit?
I don't know, because I was not. Remember, I was just a news guy when it came out. I wasn't involved with the music at all. So I wasn't familiar with the charts or what was going on or any of that
Randy
stuff.
Rayleigh's one of them that contacted me. Do you know Randy?
Name sounds familiar.
Yeah, he's a big DJ. They used to work with me.
It might have been one of the songs you wanted to get rid of. I don't know. But I hear you play it all the time, so I'm not going to get rid of it.
I don't play it all the time.
More than other songs.
Well, I'm not playing those whiny, Benson Boone
The hits?
songs. Yeah,
The number one song of 2024, you're not going to play that?
he's a whiner, a crier. You like
Sam Helmick from the Iowa City Public Library. What do you think of Benson Boone?
I think they're great. I was really kind of caught up in the Snow Patrol conversation because I love chasing cars in the beginning. I'm like, if you want to play an hour of Snow Patrol, I'm 1,000%
So you're
here.
not associated with radio and have heard of the song.
Oh yeah, 100%.
There
yes.
you go.
Okay.
You're talking to the wrong people.
Chasing Cars, by the way, you know how that came about?
Dog?
No.
A
The
dog?
lead singer, and I can't remember his name now, the lead singer, his father
Yeah.
said when they kept recording these songs, he said, you're just like a dog chasing cars, and if you ever catch one, you won't know what to do with it.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah.
Thank you for telling me that story. I love it. Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Learn a story today.
Yeah.
And here on the cheat sheet they gave us that you were going to talk about your favorite book.
Oh, my favorite book?
Or what
Oh.
you read, what was it? Sam's ready to highlight our program, share the book they're currently reading, and recommending films from our catalog.
Oh, see, I was one of the 2,500 plus readers that registered for the summer reading program at the Iowa City Public Library, humble brag. And so the last book that I'm reading, because
You brought it.
I brought, because I'm like in the last chapter, it's called The Little Wartime Library by Kate Thompson, and it's about a library in the underground London of 1944 when they were getting blitzed. And so it was like a hospital, it was like a community center, but it was also a little library to keep yourself sort of connected and sane.
So it's a book about libraries, but it's like an action kind of...
Oh, I'm very meta about my reading. Oh, totally, yes.
Tommy, before his liver transplant, used to get blitzed.
Yeah, quite often.
I haven't finished the book, but I'm thinking it might be a different type of blitz.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, but there were over 2,500 of us that registered to read with the Iowa City Public Library this summer. And, reading, it's just so crazy it might work. I think I'm going to keep going and see where it leads.
They just had a news story
Yeah.
just this morning that reading nationally is down.
I think it's because we're thinking about literacy in different forms. I think about the fact that I listen to information as much as I do anything else because I can do that while I'm driving, washing my dishes, mowing the lawn. And so I'm wondering if audiobooks and podcasts are sort of like the new printing press. Like we're having this renaissance of literacy, but it's auditory.
Somebody was having a discussion, I think it was on Lex and Terry the other day. I think Dee was talking about how he listens to books, book on tape. It's not really, I don't know if it's still called that, but he'll listen to it in the car on his commute and stuff like that. So he's consuming a book. He's just not reading it with his eyes.
Yeah.
He's driving, but somebody's reading it to him, which I guess counts as reading, maybe?
I think so,
Yeah.
yeah.
But they said in this story this morning, really reading with your eyes
Yeah.
and holding the book and not having it on a screen because the light affects you
Oh, 100%.
from a screen. Reading is actually grows your brain and it sticks with you longer.
100%, and MRIs will show that different parts of the brain light up, whether you're reading like linear text that's printed in a book form or hypertext. So I think you're right. I think auditory, digital, and physical reading are all very important, and you kind of have to have a bouquet, right? You have to have a complex portfolio of literacy skills, and so this is why I'm a book pusher. Literally, I brought my physical book today.
Yeah, you don't
because
see
you gotta go
people
brain.
reading Kindles as much as books now, even like years after it came out. If you see like the Pentacrest or something like that where people are reading in public, they have books. So you don't really see a lot of Kindles on there. You're right. The screen maybe isn't right or just doesn't feel the same, not flipping the pages. I don't know.
Well,
Marking your place has got to be tough on a Kindle.
Kindles at first just came out and it wasn't lit per se.
Yeah.
And
See,
then they
before
came
my
out
transplant,
with
I was often lit.
Yeah.
See, we're going to keep the theme today.
Yes. So, how does one transfer? No, I think you're absolutely right. This is why during September, which is National Library Card Sign Up Month, we talk about the fact that whether you're going back to work, after vacation, you're going back to college, you're going back to school, the smartest tool in your backpack or your wallet is going to be your library card, because reading does grow your brain. And I think folks think that they have to read textbooks in order for that to happen. And it's any form of reading, including historical fiction that has like a little bit of spicy romance and some war history in it. It helps you grow your imagination, your empathy, and your lexicon.
Now, see, I would have transitioned by saying, what's lit is the summer reading program, which had over 2,500. See, I use the lit in the like 10-year-old slang term. But no, you had a lot of. You mentioned it earlier, but you had a lot of people registered this summer, right?
We did, and we had over 11,000 participants in our programs.
God.
We had programs every single day of the week, all summer long, and
That's huge.
It was. We on average have over 115 people come in an hour, but in the summer it's really our time to shine, because in many cases, folks, they're looking for something fun and free to do, and they're looking for something that's going to be meaningful as well as entertaining for their kiddos, and that's where the Iowa City Public Library shows up for you. Yeah. So if you want to show up for us, and you want to show up for yourself, I would recommend either renewing your library card or coming and getting a library card at the Iowa City Public Library. We have some incentives, including stickers and sort of like prizes for folks who are registering or renewing in the month of September. And it's just an opportunity to celebrate investing in yourself. I'll be completely blunt with you. Like, the two ways I invest in myself are going to the gym every day and reading a book, and I really enjoy this one much more. So, yeah.
How far along are you?
The book or the gym?
The book.
The book, I'm about 3/4 of the way through. No spoilers here, but I think we're going to win World War II.
Well, okay, because we had a story earlier where there was somebody thought maybe we should have joined the other side.
Yeah.
What?
Tucker Carlson.
He played a clip this morning.
Oh, my.
Yeah, had
We
a
should have
guest
fought
on
against
that
the
said-
Soviets. They were the bigger threat.
Oh, my goodness.
So we should have joined the Nazis and fought the Soviets.
So this is what's sort of interesting, I think, about reading, whether it's fiction or like nonfiction about history, is that it sort of reminds you that we're always in a state of progression, right? Like, you and I will probably be monsters to those who are 50 years behind us, or ahead of us, I mean. But if we're progressing at a natural rate, then we're gonna recognize we got things wrong,
Yeah.
BPA, like plastics, I think, are one of those that we're really going to think about a lot in the next 50 years.
Also, I think it is when you listen to a Tucker Carlson evidence that we really should read more,
Oh,
especially history books,
Yeah.
any textbooks.
it gives me hope, though, in a strange way, because like lately I've been reading a lot about the Freedom Riders, and you think about the turmoil that our country has faced throughout its really kind of young life, but we always keep trying to walk towards the side of right, the side of light, and it's not easy, but if it were easy, then we would be there.
I mean,
I want you to listen.
Okay.
are you going to play the clip?
Listen to- yeah.
Okay.
And it started when I read a book by Diana West, who would be good if you interviewed her. And it's this all revisionist history of World War II. And you go, well, why would you want to read that? Well, it turns out I think the story we got about World War II is all wrong. Actually.
I think that's right.
And then I read about FDR, and FDR's right-hand man was a Soviet spy.
Certainly was.
Right? And therefore,
Confirmed.
we
but-
should have been, one can make the argument we should have sided with Hitler and fought Stalin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
I don't want to get too dystopian here, but we might have to. But you're seeing governments now saying, okay, we want to kind of regulate some of the books people or what you can and can't learn in school, and
Yeah.
you can't learn about these subjects anymore, or you have to teach it this way. Kind of makes libraries more valuable when you still have all of those books.
I think-
And people can learn more probably from going to the library now than you can in a school.
This is why I do think that libraries are incredible, because without paying a cent, anybody can walk in and they can sit down and they can access information and gain knowledge. And the world of ideas are available because library collections are meant to be brought in to represent ideas that are being published on a variety of topics from a variety of perspectives. So knowing that information exists in the world and that you can find information that will counter it or complement it or help expand your knowledge on it in the stacks of a public library is incredibly vital right now.
And I mean, this administration is actively attempting to rewrite history in the museums, in the libraries, in schools. This is a real attack on our history.
So my recommendation for the circumstances that we find ourselves in would probably be my recommendation even if we felt like we were in brighter times. It's to use your library. It's to read prolifically. But I'm going to also add to write, to document, to chronicleize your own life. Because when we look back at history, it's the folks like us who actually wrote down what mattered and what we were accomplishing day by day that we look to now for inspiration and hope.
You know, my favorite part of the library is the periodicals.
Yeah?
If you get in, I mean, because, okay, authors have their opinions, and it becomes part of the story, even if they try to be very factual about it.
Yes.
If you read a newspaper from like the 40s or the 50s, you know, you get a snapshot of what is going on at that time.
Yes.
You combine that with reading on the subject, and you have a real picture of what was occurring, and not just someone's observation of it.
I wholeheartedly agree. I periodically go into the periodical section. I'm trying, dude.
Yeah.
I can't get to your game. Your game level.
You're fitting in better than most.
But I love the fact that we have our archives. I like the fact that I can access like the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times like just from my phone with my library card, because you're right, it's not only a snapshot of what was happening at a specific time, but like libraries, newspapers are reflections of the communities that they're directly serving, right?
Yeah.
And so it's nice to understand what American life was like in Wisconsin in the 1970s as much as Iowa City, because we learn from each other, right?
And those are the days before USA Today.
Yeah.
Where they, you know, I have always thought that, newspapers went out of style because of the internet or whatever. I never bought that wholly. I think newspapers went out of style because of the USA Today outlook. Because you used to pick up a newspaper. Okay, radio, we got so much time to tell. Well, if we kept a schedule, we'd have so much time to give the news. TVs are very limited. Newspapers used to give you a full story.
Yes.
And I know newsprint's expensive or anything, but I think if they went back to that, and the New York Times does a good job of that, and the Washington Post, but I think if they went back to that where you get the full freaking story and not a headline,
Yes.
I think they do a lot better.
I loved Paul Harvey. I grew up listening to Paul Harvey, and now for the rest of the story. And what it really made me understand is that you and I are writing chapters every single day of our lives. And the rest of our story, you and I may not even live long enough to understand. But by doing the good work of telling community stories, doing the good work of supporting your library and your local media, doing the good work of making your mark on every single day means that somebody who follows us will understand what the rest of the story was, or at least we'll hand off the torch to them, right? So I'm kind of excited about the opportunities that you all give us with local media to call people into action. Because if you want to feel good about your life and you want to feel like you're accomplishing something, you want to feel like you're making change, literally picking up a book does that. Listening to local media does that. And so I applaud the work of KCJJ for enabling that to happen.
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I was going to ask what
Expecting that, I could give you the other side.
Oh, okay. I'd love that. Yeah.
Oh, this place is screwed up.
Yeah,
Do you know that they play Snow Patrol all the time here?
all the time.
Every day, every
we
hour.
play it all the time.
But you didn't hear it from me.
Do you know offhand your periodicals, like how many newspapers you have there on a day-to-day basis?
Oh, that's a great question. We have, I think, about 10 of like the top like cities are selling newspapers in the country, and then we have an archive of some local stuff on our digital spaces, on our digital library, and then you can have the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, and the Post digitally just from like your device or your phone when you use your local access.
That's cool.
Instead of having to like go to the website and pay, a paywall, and you got to pay this and that. And
Yes.
I mean, it's hard to find newspapers just in a convenience store or anywhere.
I really appreciate that we still get ours delivered every single day. They're put out before the library is open to the public. And then I see folks every single day sitting in the periodical section just enjoying the heft and the weight and the information that can be found in Americans' newspapers. And that's what I love about a library, too. There are folks who will never move beyond the periodical section because that is how the library serves them. There are some of us who are going to go explore pieces of art and check them out to put them on our walls, or telescopes to look at the night sky, or, World War II fiction.
Right.
But the library has something for everybody, and I really
DVDs
appreciate
and
it.
music.
Oh.
Hunter's always into the music.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
Shut your phone up. Phone interrupted us.
Yes. Suri said no problem. Like, you're right, no problem. Yes, absolutely. whether you're into music, you're into film, if you're into reading books or listening to them through Libby or Overdrive, the library has something for you. And so what's really interesting about Americans is that we like our options, right? So some of us are going to gravitate to those physically printed books, and some of us are going to lean more into those audiobooks, and some of us are going to visually enjoy documentaries that are available through Canopy or in the upstairs nonfiction collection. And that's all good because it's our library, and we're all going to use it differently and contribute to it differently.
I remember when I was a kid, like in the 80s, we'd go to the Iowa City Public Library and you could watch videos. You kind of check it out, but you'd watch it there. They'd give you the headphones, and you could just watch it at a monitor there, like off to the side. There was a little section for that.
I'm 100%.
Because we were like, I want to watch Godzilla versus Bambi again. You know, and you'd watch like 10 seconds or whatever it is. It's like 1 minute long.
That is awesome.
And you could just check it out. Yeah, they have little videos, like the mini videos and short films and stuff.
See, we did in the Quad Cities.
And I think public access was a part of the library back then. It was literally in the library.
Yes, the library channel on YouTube is the Iowa City Public Library's page because we were so groundbreaking even in the age of YouTube that we are known as the library channel.
Yeah.
And so all of those videos from public access and every single time we have a really wonderful series of lectures, those are recorded and archived in that
Still
collection.
showing mine from '96.
Because you're that cool, dude.
Yeah, whatever.
Timeless.
Yeah, timeless, yeah.
Listen, when I was in the Quad Cities growing up, okay, we lived part of the time in Rock Island, and then we moved to Moline.
Yeah.
And I was so surprised that, I had a library card for Rock Island, and then you have to get a library card for Moline, and they didn't share. And some stuff you had in Rock Island and Moline. And I mean, here now, you can be anywhere within this county, right? And go to any library with any library card.
Yeah, what's fascinating is that we asked for a specific library card from our for our ILS because we have different internal library systems and different collections. So you would get a library card from each of them, but then what's great is that you can check out from each of them and you can return to each of them. If you take an Iowa City Public Library book back to North Liberty because it's closer to home, we have a courier system through the state library that will deliver it right back to us for free. So we're trying to make it very convenient for our Iowans to be able to access information and to return it back to their community collections as easily as possible. But Iowa has more public libraries per capita than any other state in the nation, and you can literally borrow from all of them. I think I have somewhere in the ballpark of 135 Iowa library cards.
Jesus. Wow. Now that just took me, and what was I going to say?
That's a lot of library cards. It blew you away.
It did.
I'm collecting them like Pokemon over here.
And what about independent? For example, and we always talk about this. I know it's not associated with your library, but there's an Antelope Lending Library that brings a bookmobile down to Hills. In fact, they're there today. I think it's from like
Okay, what are you
1
going
to
to do with an
1:30?
antelope? What are you going to feed it?
Well, they need to read too.
Oh, it's absolutely wonderful, and I think it complements the Iowa City Public Library's bookmobile very well. So their services in Hills, their services in the Southeast District area, their series of schedules and events are really lovely. And it's something to aspire to. The Association for Bookmobile and Outreach Services is actually also located in the state of Iowa, and so I think sometimes if you look around, you'll see some of the best of outreach and bookmobile services happening right here in your backyard, and the globe around us are looking to us for those types of services, so I'm really glad that both of them are robustly used. Because, there are some folks who they actually haven't experienced the downtown library. Their library is the Iowa City Public Library's bookmobile because we visit like after school, we visit like community and senior centers, we visit grocery stores, and so they've never been downtown. They've never carried bundles of books with their littles and taken them across the downtown street after parking. They roll up right beside us in Hy-Vee, they return their books, their littles pick out new ones, and they carry on. And that's what we mean about eliminating barriers. We're really trying to make sure that wherever you are flowing organically in the community is where you find us.
Okay,
I'm not exaggerating, by the way, but I don't think I see any other car in traffic in Iowa City more than the bookmobile. You are always out.
31
I
stops 5 days a week.
always see it everywhere.
Yeah.
You and Jimmy Street, for some reason, I always see Street's maintenance car everywhere.
We are so grateful to our maintenance team at the City of Iowa City and so grateful to our staff and the library that supports it because we have 31 stops 5 days a week. Its own dedicated collection, its own dedicated staff that are trained to drive it and operate it, and a lift so folks can take preambulators or chairs and get on and browse their library. I am the American Library Association president, and I am constantly talking about the services that Iowa libraries have, and Iowa City Public Library specifically, because it is a reflection of folks who point us out in traffic, wave to us, say hello, and hop on and check out a book. It's because of you that we get to shine.
Okay, what I was going to ask you, Have you been affected by any of the government cuts?
That's a great question. I think that there's been some murkiness on actually how that's going to unfold, right? Because we know that the Institute for Museum and Library Services had funds that were appropriated by Congress to go to all the state libraries, which then would respectively go to all the public libraries in those states. Some states have received that funding. In some cases, 21 attorney generals have actually sued to receive that funding. We also know that more LSTA and IMLS letters for appropriations for fiscal year 26 have been signed than any other time in its 20-year history. So Americans and the people who represent them know that libraries are valuable. How that's manifesting in the states is more murky because there's been a move to dismantle the Institute for Museum and Library Services, which would help, move those funds forward and support the different states. And so I think in the state of Iowa, we've seen some responses to things like that statewide courier service being eliminated as a 5-day service and kind of like taken down to a needs base. So the AEA agencies have collaborated with the State Library of Iowa and are working on a delivery service. If you're a super lender like the Iowa City Public Library Services haven't changed. If you're a more rural lender, I've heard that not all of them have actually received service as of yet. So to answer your question in a long-winded manner, it's almost like everything else right now. It's sort of wait and see and hope, and then continue to communicate to the broader community that the more you use your libraries, the more you support them, and the more that you talk about your libraries, the better our chances are of getting those congressionally appropriated funds.
A lot of sometimes what government does is it paints a bad picture not only of the poor, but of the rich. And there's a group of philanthropists that are bonding together to save libraries and also to save PBS and public radio. And they're also saying, hey, you guys got a lot of money from us over the years to run, and now we're turning the spigot off.
Right, and what makes me so sad about it is that you and I are talking about the First Amendment, which is first for a reason, right? Access to read, access to speak, access to listen, access to assemble. And can you, this is why I fell in love with libraries and why I'm really boring at parties and talk about them all the time. Where else in American public life can you walk into a space? They don't check your age, your race, your creed, your gender. You walk in freely, you pursue information at your leisure, your privacy is respected, you gain the knowledge, which is frankly gaining the opportunity that you want, and you leave with your dreams, you leave with your accomplishments, you leave with your completed goals. I cannot envision anywhere else in American life where that is possible.
If you look at countries that have fallen on very bad times, both politically and monetarily, you will look at governments like this government is operating right now that is against the media, is against knowledge, wants to change history. It's happening right now here. It's just how long we permit it to go on.
And I think that's why telling the threats is really important, but then reminding people of the joys and promises. So one of the things I got to do at the beginning of summer was go tour some libraries in France. And what I found out was that Americans were really well loved because between the world wars, we developed a lot of libraries in France. In fact, there's an American library in Paris that I got to tour and enjoy. And what it taught me was that our culture was embedded in our values and our collaboration a lot by opening up the doors to intellectual life for folks that we were supporting during those theaters of war. And that has embedded in their culture so much that there is a love and a collaboration and a trust for our nation because at that moment we showed some of the best of us. Because libraries in many ways represent the best of a country, represent the best of a culture or a community. And so I like to get to tell stories like that because I think it's important to remember that we've had profound impact on the world. And that's just like a tiny little snapshot of it. And that if we continue every single day to be consistent, it's like going to the gym. I didn't want to tell you how far along I am, but I will tell you I'm consistent. I at least drive to the parking lot, if nothing else, because consistency is key. And so consistency and advocacy is key as well, right?
Yeah. So when you were in France, with all they cook with all those thick sauces and everything. Did you ever find the library books, the pages are sticking together?
Oh, my wows. The books were so historic they wouldn't even let me touch most of them, but I can tell you right now I found some interesting makeshift bookmarks in my day. My favorite one was in a library years and years ago. Right after Thanksgiving, somebody put a wishbone, and please nobody do this, but somebody put a wishbone in the book, and I didn't feel like I won. You know how you split the wishbone and then you're the lucky one? I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't feel lucky right now. So, yeah.
Oh, as a book expert, perhaps you could tell us this. If you create your own cover for a book to protect it, what would you call that?
Oh, like a book jacket?
Okay.
What would you call it?
Well, we called it just a book cover,
I like
Yeah.
that.
but we had David Finan yesterday. He called it a book sock.
Said they call it
Book
that
socks on the East Coast. I've never heard that before.
Oh, really?
Yes, we thought a
I
book
like
expert
book
could
sock.
perhaps verify. if
Well,
that's-
as a librarian, I would want to call it like a book cardigan. I think that would be
Yeah.
perfect because we're all about our sweaters. Book sock. That's interesting.
yeah, we were confused when he just dropped it as a regular reference.
Yeah.
Okay, but as a
And
book
then when he
push,
explained it, he's like, "You're talking about a book cover."
if you have a book sock, you have to have 2 books at a time. Otherwise, you don't have a pair.
Yes. There. That's.
I mean, I don't mean to get all
wrong.
technical and pedantic about this.
Bring that up next time David finds on.
All right, thank you. Yeah, thank you for settling that matter.
Yeah.
Well, I know I'm rambling, but I really appreciate the opportunity to
I
thank
didn't know
you.
we talked about the stuff we were. Let's see, Library Card Month, but we talked about the Bookmobile.
Yeah, and it's on its little break, but then it'll be popping back out. We changed our schedule to match the school district so that we can go to some of our after-school programs when we're invited. But I just really want to thank folks like you. I want to thank our Friends Foundation. I want to just really applaud the community for coming around together and supporting the library summer reading program.
We
every
love
year.
having you
Yeah.
here. We
Great
really
guest.
do.
I love
We
having you
really
too.
do.
And now I'm gonna have this phobia of like some buttery sauces between the pages of a book, but I'm gonna hold it up and be like, I think that was croissant batter. I don't know. Yeah. But thank you all so much, and I look forward to listening to more Snow Patrol on my way home to work.
There you go. Well, thanks for coming in, Sam.
You too. Take care.
Mighty 1630.